स्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धेर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. Yes, please. Before we continue, Shashi ji was sharing a question. I request Shashi ji to repeat the same.
Okay, so I'm talking about detachment. There are various levels of detachment, but if somebody is ill or has been unwell, an elderly person, and everybody else knows about it, but nobody has bothered to share it with me.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to work through it by not getting distressed about it. Like, why didn't anybody tell me? It's not an ego thing,
Yeah.
not for me. It's
No, no,
about
no.
concern.
Yes.
So I want to know, how do you stay detached from it? My detachment is I just send a text message. I do not speak until I've sorted my head out in case something wrong comes out.
Absolutely.
So
That's
so the idea is not to hurt or upset the other person because they're not well.
yeah.
So how?
And
What?
we don't want
What?
revenge also for we don't
No, there is no
isn't it?
revenge concern
Yes.
at all. It's just
Yes,
that I
yes.
wish I'd known, kind of thing.
Yes,
That
yes.
I should have been part of the knowing group,
Yeah.
so to
Yes,
speak.
yes,
But
yes.
how do I stay detached from care and concern, or like, why wasn't I included
Yes.
in the knowledge?
Yes,
It
yes.
could be that they were being nice to me, that we know this one will worry too much, but that's not for them to decide.
No,
It's
it's
for
not.
me
It's
to
not.
know and me to decide.
Yes.
So how do you stay detached with something like this?
I would say, Shashi ji, it is actually a very strong feeling of betrayal, of trust, where you expect a basic
Thank you.
aspect, you feel a basic aspect of it's a courtesy, it's a obligation, it is a basic tenet of a relationship. But in all relationships, we cannot ensure the other person to stand up. We have to accept it. It is hurtful, it is painful, but I remember once I got a very shock, it's a very different one, but a betrayal from a friend, a very close friend whom I felt it was like I'm in touch every day, and suddenly the most important thing happens in the life. I am the only person who does not know it. Everybody else knows it. And
Exactly.
so that kind of shook me a lot. But that was when I tried the last shloka that we saw, no? Because I got the news at night before going to sleep. And that betrayal disturbed me so much that I thought, no, this is not right. I need to at least, how do I didn't even, I was wondering what knowledge have I got, or how come I couldn't even guess? How come I did not even get a whiff of it? And means where is my understanding? These were all self questionings also was going on at that time. Ki, how did I not see through? Was I being played around? All those factors were there. That time, the shloka number 27, which Krishna has talked about meditation, isn't it, Ji? That proved
Yes.
very useful for me because that shloka, I mean, I didn't look at the shloka, I knew the message of dhyana, prana, pana, samakritva. Try to equalize your breath. And because my thoughts were so crowded, my thoughts were quite difficult to process, I tried to do that. I would not say I succeeded. I tried to do it, and it took me half an hour to calm down, Ji. I
Okay.
was just I'm trying to calm my breathing, and I'm like, what is
Yeah.
wrong with me? Where is my sense of I was even, I mean, what have I understood from the Gita if I'm not able to become calm and control my thoughts? So that was the thing, and it took half an hour, but at the end of the half an hour, I came to terms with it. I accepted it. It is a truth. And the same thing, like now, as far as very recently, from member of my a close family member was not well. I did not do anything. What I told myself is, see, I'm not a doctor. I cannot treat. Even it is the divine's work. Let me help as much as I can. When I get the opportunity, let me consider it as a God-given chance. Whether or not I get acknowledged, whether or not somebody says I'm doing wrong, it does not have to disturb me. Our disturbance aspect should be eliminated. But you don't have to feel bad about, or guilty about feeling betrayed. It happens. It happens at times. But you have to process it and move ahead. Ji. That is what I
Well,
feel.
yeah, absolutely right, because that's how I do. I process, I put it on the back burner, and if it
Yeah.
doesn't come back,
And it should
it
not create a
wasn't worth
sanskar
it.
in you. It should not create a
Yeah.
sanskar on you when you interact with that person. You have discovered a
Oh,
truth that
absolutely.
that
I
should
make a
not
point
create a
because
ripple. You have to
absolutely.
deal with the same nyaya and tarka that you always
Yeah,
follow.
absolutely.
Yes, ji.
Yeah, I'll deal
Thank
with
you.
the others.
Yes, ji. Yeah.
But
All right.
there's another problem that is just the opposite of this.
What is it, ji?
That
Yes,
that
Maji.
is when somebody involves you in
Hmm.
in their problems and asks for advice, whereas it is their personal problem and you don't know what you're saying is right or wrong or whether it will help them or not, but they are just depending upon you to tell them what to do next. What do you do
And
in
that
such a case? How to
that is
wriggle
out.
out of
They
it?
are outsourcing their guidance from a without actually. They don't consider you as a guru, isn't it?
Huh.
You
No,
are
it is just
a
somebody to offload their worries on.
ha ha. And
Yeah,
then do you have enough
absolutely.
load carrying capacity of everybody's worries? That is a decision.
Absolutely.
You cannot
Yes,
even a tripper
absolutely.
or even a tripper if you see it has they come with a specification that this can carry 1 ton,
Yeah,
not more than
yeah.
that. So we should decide
But
if it is carrying our it is if it is training us, we can politely refuse also without being harsh.
But what do you do when one of them said, I was planning to commit suicide, but after talking to you, I've changed my mind. I think I
No,
should give it one more go.
that is very true. But Majid, there was a friend of mine who talked about suicide, and I really left everything, went late in the night. He even showed me a rope which he was going to use, and after a month, he said, "I was trying to get your attention. I didn't want to do suicide anyway."
Yeah. There
So
are
what,
people like
yeah,
that.
so
Yes,
what I
you're
have to
right.
say is whenever this happens, you do not take the load on you. If it is a load of Krishna, it means nobody should carry the load. In fact, even Atlas should not think about carrying the entire globe because Shesha is holding it. Atlas thinks he is carrying the globe, so entire life you see Atlas is like that. Somebody has to just go and whisper to Atlas. It is not your job. Just go in a
Mm.
park. Atlas can have a good vacation, but unfortunately, nobody is telling it. So same way we don't carry loads. When we say na hum karta, hari hi karta, I don't think we have to take the ownership over any of these. If I'm getting troubled, I have a capacity, a limitation of human nature that I have. I have to transcend that limitation. That is true, but not at the expense of destroying myself. If you are going through a lot of trouble and you are getting it, kindly direct that person to a right person or ask depute it to somebody else whom you can trust.
Yeah.
It is not, and we are not we are not expert in therapists also, isn't it, Maji, for giving psychological counseling. I wrote a poem and posted it on as a status. Suicide, don't go that side. And I got a message reply, I'm going to suicide after that. I was shocked. I was broken. I was like, I have written, and it was after a break of nearly 8 months. I had decided no more poetry. That was my password in all my devices, no more poems. So I write my poem and I put it online. The first response I get is that. And then I was trying frantically to reach out to that person. But that person turned off the phone after that, and I did not get any response. And 3 days later, I found out that person did not end the life, and the poem did have a good benefit. That person contacted me. Ki that poem made me rethink, and I did not go ahead. But the 3 days I had trouble was unbelievable, and I felt, what have I
Yes.
done? Because
Yeah.
I should not take credit also, no? I cannot take credit
Mm.
of this of the good or the bad. If you are
Mm.
free, you can go ahead. Is that all right, Maji? Hey, you're muted. You're muted. I can't hear you. The left corner, bottom left corner. I think. All right. Whenever Maji goes, I can unmute. You can continue. We what we should.
May
Sushilji,
I?
Yeah. Okay. Pankaj is saying something. All right.
yeah, in that situation, situation which came up,
Yeah.
that nobody informed her. If I would be in that place, my
Yes, sir.
two cents would be very short and sweet.
Hmm.
I would assume first thing, one less thing to worry about.
Huh.
Second, it is, somebody else's behavior. I
Yeah.
mean, we cannot control that.
Yes, that is a true thing. The
Just try to
second
be
part. Yeah.
detached, calm, and quiet. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yes. Yes. So the second part is most important, to recognize that it is somebody else's. We can't
Yeah,
choose.
yeah,
We cannot choose at all. Yes. Thank you,
absolutely.
sir.
I just want to very quickly ask you, where do you put your poetry online anywhere?
No, I
Do you
used
have
to do
a
it online. I have a blog, but that is not functioning. I mean, it's whatever is written is there, nearly 80, 90 of them. But then that was, I think, 8, 9 years before I stopped posting anything new. I'll share it if you want to read it.
Yeah,
It has
please. I'd
got
love to.
two
There is a
subscribers.
whole
I am one
tress of
subscriber. Another is Arun
yeah.
Tiwari, sir. So, so I'll share it to you.
No,
Yes, yes.
I'd love to. I'd love
Fine,
to
Ji.
read your
Sure,
poems.
whenever possible. All right, Ji. Let us
Thank you.
resume. Yes, let us resume our Gita study. So now we are into the fifth adhyaya of the Gita, where Krishna introduced us a technique of dhyana. Anybody practice that at their in their free time or in their leisure? If anybody did, yes, sir. If somebody can just share in a minute, or what was your experience and how long, how did you do it? That is all, so that others can probably draw. Yes,
Yeah. So, I mean, we do it every day actually.
yes,
But
sir.
this time I did with this technique
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
told by Gita.
Yes, sir.
So I was trying to focus my breathing
Mm.
timing, equalizing them in and
Yes, sir.
out. And then I think somewhere I heard in last conversation that Soham sound helps.
Yes, sir. It helps.
So I
And
tried that. First day it didn't work, but on
okay.
Sunday, yesterday, it gave
Haha.
me some kind of balance there.
Oh, great, sir.
Yeah.
And in the first day, it did not work in the sense what happened that time. There were
No, that
thoughts.
Soham balance. I could not
Okay.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
the balance that Soham sound, the
Right, sir.
length of that sound.
Right, sir.
That's all.
And the thoughts were there thoughts were there, or they reduced?
There were thoughts. There were
Great,
thoughts,
sir. Yes,
but
sir.
I'm trying to minimize them as
Wonderful,
much
sir.
as I can.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. And how long did you try, sir? For means how many minutes do you
See, we
choose?
tried for about 3-4 minutes,
Great, sir.
first batch,
Fine. Yes,
and then
sir.
second batch also we tried.
Great, sir. Great, sir.
So twice we did
So
that.
fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing. So as Pankaj ji shared, as sir has said, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. That's a very good way to at least that much time we can take out. But the best part is if you can take it out multiple times in a day. If you can extend it maybe to 15, 20 minutes also, that would be very lovely. But again, it is not something you have to take as a target. It has to be a meditation should not be one, I want to meditate. Should be like let meditation happen as a consequence. Let me become quiet. Let me become peaceful on the inside, and then watch meditation will. Without your knowledge, you will be into a state. That is a very important thing. And again, just doing meditations, because sometimes when people meditate, they appear like they are the greatest mumukshus or greatest yogis who are close to attaining salvation. After meditation session, you feel suddenly what happened is Deva has suddenly become Danava. How did that transformation happen? Or what is, because this it is something which has to be carried. Sri Aurobindo talked about something called dynamic meditation. While you're doing action, also in the middle of activity, you can be in that state. But it is something which has to be practiced, not just thought over. A small story of a shishya who was very good at meditating, but very harsh of the meditation session. The guru decided I need to intervene. So what he did was he went while the Shishya was meditating, and he purposely disturbed his Shishya while he was meditating. And the first reaction the Shishya gave was some swear words. He opened his eyes, and then when he saw it was his guru, he covered his mouth in shame because he has uttered the most vulgar profanities to somebody who is so reverent. That time the guru smiled and he said, "Yes, that is why I disturbed you right now, because the real meditation should start after the session you have done." So meditation is like when we do dhyana, you are creating a ground for carrying it throughout the day. Your other actions. That is something, and that is where we become the real examples of Krishna, which Krishna says, no, yat yat acharati shrestha. We have to, if we are followers of Krishna, we are true followers of his principles. If we take pride in Krishna's teachings, let that pride come in our action. That is something which we have to see. So in the 20th shloka, 28th shloka, Krishna talks about these people, these awakened ones. How are they? Krishna says, Yetendriya mano buddhir munir moksha parayanaha vigate cha bhayakrodho yah sada mukta eva saha. The sages who are the seekers of liberation assert a control over their mind and intellect, the mana and buddhi, both. All senses, anger or wrath can cause them no interruption, for they have attained complete freedom in every respect. The sages who are seekers of liberation, these munis who are seeking the moksha, these munis, what do? They assert a control over what? Over their mind and their buddhis also. Mana and buddhi, mind and intellect both they try to control. All senses means all the indriyas and they are in control. Anger or wrath can cause them no interruption. Not by hearing something unfavorable, not by seeing something unfavorable, not by sometimes people cannot tolerate certain fragrances also. They say, this smell is not good, so I will not do my work here today. If your work is important, duty is more important than your convenience, you should be able to go ahead. To some extent, you have to understand that you cannot be totally driven only by your indriyas. So, indriyas are not disturbing them from their duty and mission, nor is anger, nor wrath, means any of those rage, fury, all of these factors, and also fear. Nothing, nothing is going to cause an interruption in such people. So when they are uninterrupted, they are absolutely free. Free meaning at all times they are in that same state without having a disturbance. The same state of connection with the divine. Connection with the divine is something which we must aspire for at all moments. That is something Krishna keeps telling us. It will make our, if we are alone, we can enjoy that quality time alone. If we are with our loved ones, we can be better lovers. We can offer better love to the world. If we are artists, we can perform better art. Whatever duty we are doing, our duties can become better. Business also we can perform better if we are connected with the divine. And that is what Krishna is talking about. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gnatva mam shantim mricchati. Before going to this shloka, I know we are connected with, say, I mean, in our life, whom do we like, want to be connected with at all times? Just, just asking. If do we have, if somebody, whom do we like when we are connected with, and which connection do we cherish a lot? Anybody?
Parents.
Okay, Rekha ji is saying parents. That is one connection which is very cherishable for her. Yes. Anybody else?
Can be
Life
friends.
For me,
Generally.
partners.
Okay, Dinesh ji is saying friends.
Life
Okay,
partners
okay, life for partners. So
and
our
parents both.
okay, parents, life partners, and this relation is what type of relation do we like? We'll have a mutual friendship is something you will enjoy, isn't it? Or you would like to be afraid of them and then think of them.
We
Love
should,
and respect.
yes,
Love
both
and
love and
respect. Love
respect.
and respect. And very good word in Sanskrit is Maitri.
Maitri.
Maitri Bhava. And Maitri is something which you cannot define. That is what one very senior Sanskrit scholar told me. And it was very nice to see that that sir had some kind of feeling of kinship and friendship. But he said, Maitri, there is no paribhasha. You cannot give a definition for friendship. And that is a very beautiful relationship where it involves love, it involves respect. But the fear aspect is not there, isn't it? Because the moment fear aspect comes, it does not bring you close, it detaches you from that individual. Fear is, if you instill fear in somebody for you, you are pushing that person away from you, consciously or unconsciously. So, the same thing, when we fear God, also we go away from God. Our fears in the mind take control. So, Krishna is saying one simple way to be connected with the divine is to have which bhava or which relation with the divine?
Maitri
Anybody?
Bhava.
Yes,
Maitri
yes.
Bhava.
Yes, Maitri Bhava, if you are recognizing that the divine is your friend, you are absolutely you are never alone also. And that friendship will allow you to experience the greatest of great joys. That is what Krishna is telling in this shloka. He says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam gnatva mam shantim richati. When to man this singular truth is known, that all sacrifices I receive with joy as they are my own, and he shall perceive me as his dearest loving friend. He shall then experience my perfect peace that has no end. So this Shanti, when you get that knowledge, God is my friend. What will come with this is natural peace only, a Shanti which is going to be perfect. And how do we understand that? It is so beautiful. It's like when you recognize that one singular truth that all sacrifices I receive with joy. I, in the sense, the divine, he receives all the sacrifices that you make with joy because they are my own. That means when you give something to your friend, do you feel you have lost it? I like chocolates, for example. I like to eat a lot. But if my friend says, I want this and I give it, I may not feel so bad about giving it. Instead, I'll feel more happy, isn't it?
Joy of sharing.
Yes, yes, yes. The joy of sharing. If we can get that bhava for all the sacrifices, it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. It is the state of mind which makes a lot of difference of our experiences. Here, Krishna says, you will start perceiving the divine as your dearest loving friend, your Suhruda. And he is the friend of everybody. He is a Mishwamitra, a friend of all. That divine is receiving all your sacrifices. You experience a great peace. That is what Krishna is talking about. Whether Arjuna sees Krishna as a friend right now and is suddenly peaceful, we don't know. But this is an important concept. Let us again and again remember that we don't need to fear God. By fearing, does that mean only Krishna we should not fear and other divine forms we should fear?
None of them.
No.
But Mahakali is so scary, isn't it?
For
Should we
It
fear?
Danas,
is
not for us.
for the
Not for,
animals.
yes, yes, yes. You understand that. That is for danas only. If you are doing wrong and righteousness, you have to fear Ma Kali's wrath. She is the destroyer of all the darkness. But no need to have the. But what about the grahas? That is one very, very big fear, and a very big industry is functioning because of the fear of the grahas. So, what about that? Can we say they are our friends then?
No, but
Well,
Prime Minister is there with us now. Then all the members, all the what we can say ministers will be in our control now. So
Okay,
if we
so
are
they'll be in control.
if we are praying, we are connected with the divine. Then all the grahas are parliamentary members. They can't do
But
anything.
all parliamentary members don't listen to the prime minister, no? They do some actions little bit causing
Prime
a little.
Minister is there now to protect us.
Yeah, he's protecting in the fine ultimately. Okay. Or another way is looking at all the grahas as your parents. Means each of them has a different way of parenting. If you see, there is the sun, the from Surya has got the great Teja. You have to go be careful not to get a heat wave, heat burn because of that. But if you are able to understand the value of the Surya, you will get the warmth, isn't it? The Chandrama Manasuda Jata. They look at the grace of the moon, the quietude of the moon. That is something again beautiful. Mangal is what? Mangal, the force of the youth. Each of these, Shukra is again such a beautiful one, brilliant one who is, you can say even Daityas will also learn, Dana also and Deva also will learn from them. If you see all the Navagrahas itself, all of them, including, we can say a lot of people in Tamil, our Amma was there who helps us in the cooking. She said, I used to, if I get angry, I will use the name of one Graha on that person in Tamil language. Now, again, it is not required to be afraid of. Look at Shani Maharaj. What is his role? He is the teacher of Vairagya. Guru Graha may not give you the knowledge of Vairagya as easily as Shani Maharaj will teach you. Or look at the other grahas. So what I want to say is that we need not worry. We need not worry. Each of these have been assigned. If at all you are somebody is talking or having some thoughts about what is this, what is my fate, how is it? It is not at all our entire what we can say concern. As Gayatri ji said, we are concerned with the Prime Minister who sits above all of these, the divine, who is the
You
supreme.
gave a new point of view to look at them.
Yes, it is because the fear of that is, and very
It's like
interestingly,
they are our elders.
elders, absolutely, they are
Yeah,
there
my
for a
father
growth.
has different knowledge, my uncle has different knowledge,
Even the
my
Chaya
auntie.
Grahas,
So
if somebody's Rahu is very strong in the sense, we don't have to feel only the bad effects, the person will be a very good uh, detective also, quickly able to identify because you are now always having this, the mindset. Same thing with the Ketu also. Many people say that it's a spiritual Graha. So whatever it is, reason we just looked at is because in Bharat, a lot of people are afraid of my stars. What when you look at from the stars, are they going to wonder what kind of dress you are going to wear and get insulted because today is my day and you have worn another colored dress? Now, the stars are very tiny and petty if they are getting disturbed just by that. Instead, if your bhava is right, your offering is right, you are not going to be worried. And same thing, this aspect with all the divine deities, one need not, whether it is the Grama Devata, whether it is a Sthana Devata, whether it is a Kula Devata, or it is a Vaishwa Devata, or it's a Devata of the Sanatan tradition, or somebody else's, we don't have to have such Veda at all. We have to become Dvandvatita. We have to go beyond, as Krishna says. And how can you become beyond the fear of divine is to develop a friendship with the divine. And this ability to develop friendship with the divine is also one of the muktis. One of there are like in there are four types of muktis in they called this what we can say the four muktis they are said. Is anybody aware of it? Think there's a nice Marathi abhang. Devachi advari ubhakshana bhari tene mukti chari sadhiyela. There are four muktis that can be just like that realized. This is standing at the door. Yes, Vijumaji?
जीवन मुक्ति पाप मुक्ति
Okay, that is right. In this, they talk about Samipata, Salokata, Swarupata, and Sayujya. These are four stages. So, Samipata is your nearness. So, when you start loving the divine, this is the first thing is when you start loving, you start going closer. You yourself start feeling a closeness. You start experiencing the presence of the divine. And I have seen some individuals who are personally not very strong or powerful in their own thoughts because of the trouble, but by virtue of the closeness with the divine, suddenly they have taken so powerful decisions which even the strongest minded and most powerful beings will not take. Such decisions come because again, samipata, closeness to the divine. Because they say, no, Jake, Jako Rakhe Saya Mar Sake na Koi. When you are close to the divine, when God is for you, who will be against you? That is the first bhava. Fearlessness will come, closeness, samipata. Then salokata, kind of a familiarity will come to the divine's way of working in life. You are able to understand.
yeah
You're able to understand how this is the plan of the divine. Okay, look at this. These are storms, but these storms have been sent by somebody. I know these storms have come for a purpose. You're able to see the functioning behind what they call the wheel of things, no? What things are happening on the surface, what happens behind, you're able to see that. That is the salukata, familiarity with the divine. Next mukti is the swarupata. Many bhaktas suddenly start appearing like the deva only. The Swarupa, the form only starts looking similar. That is one more type of mukti. And Sayajya is being the final, in this final state where you are now completely one with the divine. As Sant Tukaram Maharaj had talked about. It is like I went in search of God. I didn't know when I became one with the divine. That is something which we should understand. Krishna says it starts with this only, where friendship. So let us we can say God is only waiting for, he's saying, मुझसे दोस्ती करोगे क्या? We have to say yes and take the first step. So let us go to the next shloka. And that is the best relationship. If we can anytime establish friendship, there cannot be anything better. No greater relationship. And I think we all like that, isn't it? Wherever we go. when we make new friends, when you establish friendship, it is a joyous experience. Why not have that with the divine? We enter into what is the sixth adhyaya of the Gita. So out of 18 now we are entering to sixth one. So one third will be soon complete, one third of the Gita. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Anashritah karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnirna chakriya. Shri Krishna said, he who dutifully works without desire, him the expectations of fruits cannot cage. This word anashritaha, where we saw nirashrayaha, this person is again anashritaha, one who is having zero expectations at all and is working dutifully without desire. Like self motivation is there in that individual. It's not requiring some things to be fed or give me a praise, then I will do something, show me some respect, then I will listen to you. All these factors are not there in that individual. He dutifully works without desire. Him, the expectations of fruits cannot cage. And he is said to be the sannyasi, the yogi, the real sage, not he who renounces actions and kindles not the sacrificial fire. This is very beautiful. Nice word is there. Niragnirna chakriya, the one who has not lit the Agni. What can that mean? Only the person who does the yajna? If you don't do yajna, you are not a sannyasi. Anybody? What is the meaning of that? Yes, anyone?
Regarding to food habits, they are
Okay,
not
Gayatri ji
eating
is saying
cooked
it
food,
is
something.
it related to the food habits? Gayatri ji is saying, okay, Shashi ji
Cooked
is saying
food they
something.
don't eat. Only
Huh?
kandamul. Cooked food they don't eat. Maybe.
Okay, that is one point Gayatri ji is making. Let us see. Shashi ji would like to add something?
Um, I was sort of on a slightly different mindset.
Yeah.
Basically, you don't
If you can be a
have
little
to.
louder, Madam Maji.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just saying it can be anybody.
Hmm.
One doesn't have to be like it says a sannyasi, a yogi. It applies
Hmm.
to anyone and everyone. That's how
Hmm.
I'm looking at it.
Okay. So somebody who does not light the fire with action means somebody who does not do the karma, that person cannot be claimant of the title of sannyasi. He cannot claim to be a yogi if somebody who is not, because the agni of a yajna also, a yajna, how is it lit? By the kriya, isn't it? If you have not done the kriya at all, which fire is going to glow? Which without that fire, we can say this fire is not necessarily only the physical fire, also the fire within also. Somebody who does not light the fire at all,
It
that
about
person.
inaction.
Yes, it is not by inaction. You have to do the action. Only the lighters of the fire, they are the worthy ones. Because they are working. In the first part also he says, "Na, who does the karma? Karotiya." The one who does the karma, nirashraya, nirashritaha, that person. And he cannot be bound by expectations. This is also a very beautiful aspect. We get bound without our knowledge by expectations, our own expectations or people's expectations. We get bound by it and that becomes a problem. But the one who is a yogi is going to do actions without that. Whether or not people praise me, whether or not I get something in return, I do what I have to do. 100,000 times people may say I'm a fool for doing what I'm doing. It should not disturb me because I am conscious. I am conscious of what it is. So, Pravina Maji has said one more nice question. Is metabolism a yagna? In our Sharira, yagna is going on. So, from the cellular level, mitochondria are doing yagna only, isn't it? Generating energies. The ATP, all that energies that are generated inside. That is also a yagna. Ayurveda talks about the Jatharagni, which is digesting the food within. That is also a yagna. Yes, so when our body is also doing the yagna on a cellular level, why should we not participate in yagna in life, free of desires? So that is one thing Krishna says. He goes on
Sir,
further.
sir,
Aham
is it
Vaishvanaro Bhutva.
Yeah, he says that is there in the Gita. Yes. So somebody was asking something.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sir. It's basically talking about without action, nothing is possible.
Ji sir. Ji sir.
Action is the most important thing. But when you are doing action, don't concentrate that
Ah,
you are going to get fruit. You do your action, remaining
yes, sir.
thing God will take.
Absolutely, sir. Ji sir. Ji sir. Excellent. Absolutely. Yam sannyasam iti prahur yogam tam vidhi pandava nahi sannyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. This, O Arjuna, is what they call renunciation, the true state of yoga, the integral union. He is not a yogi who has renounced not desire, not the one whose mind yearns for objects to acquire. That cannot be a yogi who is thinking, I have to have these many followers. I have to attain this particular name. My actions which I am doing has to bring about this much transformation in the material world so many people can praise or appreciate. No, no, there is nothing like that. Only a person who is doing everything in a state of renunciation, only that person can be called a yogi, not somebody who is running after objects, objects of means acquiring, yearning more and more. I need to get this, I need to, and that is one thing which is it is a human nature in all of us. We have this habit. It is not something. It's like we have the habit of breathing. We can't do anything. Nature has created that. It keeps us alive. Like that, we have the tendency to accumulate and grab and acquire because that is a prakriti. It's a some kind of a code inserted into us. Not something we signed up for. It just came to us. But we have to learn to transcend that. Somebody who cannot transcend it cannot be called a yogi. If you're running after something, then you are not a yogi. You're a bhogi, isn't it? Simple opposite of yogi is bhogi only, isn't it? Running after this. And some jivan muktas are so interesting. You cannot even distinguish whether they are yogi or bhogi. Because they have transcended absolutely. There is not a slightest indication. Even this sometimes the devas also are called in different bhajans and kirtans that I cannot tell who you are. Are you a bhogi? Are you relishing in taking the enjoyment of the world, or are you a yogi who is just uh, completely detached? I cannot understand. Like for even Shiva, there is a very nice bhajan. Maghe Ubha Mangesh. This is something I think from the Mangesh Gharana, from Mangeshkar's family. It is there, which talks about Janma Janma Chaha Yogi Sansari Ananda Bhogi. This birthless yogi for so many births, he is a yogi only. And what is this yogi doing? What is this great yogi of several births doing? This yogi is experiencing Ananda, is taking bhoga of the Ananda. So, how do I call you? Viragi ki manu bhogi. Should I call you Viragi or should I call you Bhogi? That is the state. So, that is the transcendence of somebody who has completely overcome this need for gratification of senses of any sort. That person is the real yogi, is what Krishna says. He goes on further. This is beautiful. The shloka is very nice and very interesting. Same principle for the beginner, same principle for the master. The third shloka. Arudukshor munir yogam karma karana muchyate yogarudhasya tasyaiva shamaha karana muchyate. Krishna says, and for the ascending yogi. Okay, Pravina ji has written yogi or bhogi is okay, but do not be rogi. Right, that is true, but sometimes we don't have a choice. Uh,
Clinical rhyming.
yeah, yeah. Let us continue. Yes. So, Arurukshor Munir Yogam Karma Karana Muchyate Yogarudhasya Tasyaiva Shamaha Karana Muchyate. And for the ascending yogi, it is thus affirmed that action causes his ascent to be confirmed. And for he who has already ascended, self mastery is the cause by which he has transcended. Krishna is telling so nicely. He says, see, for a yogi who is walking on the path, You can say we are all walking on the path of Krishna, so we are this ascending yogis. We are trying to reach that state. So Krishna says, how does a person ascend on the path of the ascent? It is again by karma, the person's actions, detached actions only, that is going to allow a person to go ahead. Also, for the person who has gone ahead, for the master also, how has the master gone ahead? Again, by detached action, and he has reached a self mastery. That is why he has become a master. That is so beautiful. Means self mastery is the cause by which that person has ascended. Meaning, you start by doing your karmas to ascend, do your actions in a state of detachment. That will ensure you go ahead. And when you have reached the highest state, also, it will again be because of that, because you have now gained what we call absolute detachment. So the fundamentals do not change. The fundamentals do not change in whichever field, whichever discipline you go in, isn't it? The basic rules, basic principle. If you are firm on your fundamentals, you're firm on your basic principle. That is it. Same way, if a master is always cranky, getting irritated, getting frustrated, getting disturbed, what will you say? Will you accept it, or will you say, oh, fundamentals are missing? Fundamentals have to be established, isn't it? Again, it is the same thing. It is the same thing Krishna is saying. Just today's session, Shashiji was saying that Krishna appears to be introducing the same concepts in different ways to make us understand better. Because that way things are very simple if we understand that. But the problem is our mind has this ability of diluting, distorting, again deviating from the truth. That is why Krishna had to use so many shlokas. So here again he says, walk ahead. It is by self-control that you will become the master, and by your karmas only you will ascend. Let us go on. Yada hi nendriyartheshu na karma swanushajjate sarva sankalpa sannyasi Yoga Rudhas Tadochyate. Who is that Yoga Rudha? The Yoga Rudha, the one who has gone, means the one who has ascended, who is a senior yogi, or a title we want to give, like a Yati or a Mumukshu or the Muni. How do we identify them? Krishna says, in his mind too, all attachments he has denounced. When all the wills within are renounced, if he is bereft of desires towards all objects of sense, the zenith of yoga he has reached thence. That person who has overcome what? When all the wills within are renounced. If he is bereft of desires towards all objects of sense, the zenith of yoga he has reached thence. Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi. Now, what does that mean? He has all the wills that are inside are renounced. Anyone? If you renounce the
Sorry, I
will,
didn't catch the last bit.
yes,
What
she want me to
was?
repeat the last part. I'll just repeat
Yes,
just the poetry once more, then we look at it.
yes.
Shashiji, if something has happened to your audio, I'm not able to, it's become very soft suddenly.
Oh, let's
Anyway, let us continue. In his mind too, all attachments he has denounced. When all the wills within are renounced, if he is bereft of desires towards all objects of sense, the zenith of yoga he has reached thence. If you are able to be free, completely free, you have reached the highest state. This is the interesting word, Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi. In English, it has just been written as with when all the wills within are renounced. That is my question. How do you renounce the will within?
Will to live?
Yeah, what is the meaning of that? And how will I move ahead if I
Yeah,
renounce everything?
because there is no desire to live. If you are ready to go to the divine, you are ready.
There's no desire to live, then I will become a zombie, no? Or I don't know what will happen to me.
Attachments.
The will to live, I
It's
think,
all
that is the will.
Yes, see?
No, renouncing the will means the will to live. Renouncing that also.
Yes, but then that will that person not become completely detached? So it's like where will the drive come to work, no?
It's about desires and fruit of actions.
Yes, so desires and fruits of action as well as sarva sankalpa, meaning I am not taking the sankalpa also. Many times people
No
takes
target,
the targets are not set by the individual anymore.
just
But
going with
now
the flow.
yeah, but now we know in companies when we work, if there is no target set, nothing is obtained, isn't it? So what do we do here? How do we reconcile with this? Sarva sankalpa sannyasi. Go with the flow. Today wind is blowing this side, tomorrow it's going that side. So will I keep changing my directions?
Is it to accept Krishna's will as our will?
Yes, yes. The target is now set by a higher authority. I am now directly listening to Prime Minister, not listening to some peon or some in some office, some agent. My wills and my targets are not individual desire generated wills. It is the divine's will that has become my driving factor. So my personal sankalpas are all over. I may want, personally, I may say I want this much something in return. I may want to achieve certain thing in my career. I may want to get this post. These are all individual sankalpas. But for the yogi, there is no sankalpa at all. Appointment letter is this hand, resignation letter is this hand. It is the divine which is going to decide which letter to take. I am not going to be attached by anything. All sankalpas now coming from the divine, perfectly told by Vinitaji. So this is what Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi. That person has reached the highest state. It's very difficult, isn't it? Who will leave a career on the top of their peak? Can anybody leave it just like that? Somebody just imagine a person works in an organization for say maybe a decade, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, somebody works and reaches by karma only. Again, it's not selfish karma, it is a sincere karma done dutifully, doing it in the right direction. A person is going. Suddenly, on the divine will, the Ishwari Sankalpa is something else, and the individual understands that, and that the individual leaves it. How is it? Is it possible for an ordinary individual to let go some such a security? Someone will say, no, how can I become, this will just throw me into a great depression or great sorrow, but not a person who has now thrown away personal sankalpa. I mean, not a person who is holding on to personal sankalpa, who is now understanding it is the divine will. How does one understand what the divine will? The heart knows. The heart is different from your emotions. My mother talks about a psychic center in your heart, or Gita talks about a space where Krishna sits in the heart of everybody. Well, there you have to understand what is the will of the divine, you have to first become quiet. You have to learn to see certain things which are beyond your own sankalpa, your own personal limited direction or aspiration or ambition. This is all tiny in comparison to the divine. If you can recognize that, then you can understand it. Otherwise, it will not. But that's a mark of a great yogi who is able to let go of the sankalpas. Also, is what Krishna is saying, and it's not easy. It comes with practice. Sometimes this life, sometimes God knows we might have done some sadhana in the last life, which makes it easy in this life. We're not sure of it. We don't have to worry about it. But this is the aspect that we have to look at. Rahul ji
Sir,
shared
I
something.
have
Yes,
one question.
yes, sir.
Yeah, so is it mean that we shouldn't have any aim?
No, aim is to do work perfectly. Yoga karmasu kaushalam, meaning excellence in works. Whatever work is there, only you are not directing your own works now. You're getting the indication and direction of the divine. Many times it is important to become quiet and understand what is the will of the divine. Or it is better to understand the will of, till you understand the will of the divine, keep doing the duties that keep coming to you.
So, but there are like the aim which we set while doing any action,
Yes, sir.
we always expect something in back, right? how
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can look through.
Can we look at any example of an action which you feel you have to expect in for that action to move ahead? Just one example.
Let's say now I was working as a senior software engineer in an IT company.
Yes, sir.
I was like doing my roles and responsibility on daily basis, but I was not getting the hike which I was expecting.
Okay. Yeah.
So, so what I should be doing? The guys are, I mean, the employer of mine was treating me like his little brother, younger
Hmm.
brother.
Hmm.
Now the question was like, I was thinking that I am not getting the hike, but at the same, I was looking at the relation we had developed since we worked together for straight 7 years.
Okay.
So how to get out of it? Because I have my own family responsibilities and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need something like
Yes,
I should
sustenance.
be growing. I have a daughter,
Absolutely.
I have a
Perfect
wife.
point.
So
Absolutely,
now
sir.
how to
Yes,
go
sir.
through?
If you see, Swadharma is not to be sacrificed anytime. No, in the Gita, Krishna has told Swadharma Nidhanam Shreya. Here, if your individual growth is not taking place, you have to focus on that, isn't it, in the organization? If your growth is
So,
not there, that is not a something you have to continue doing continuously, isn't it?
so yes, correct. But now, isn't it contradicting what we have just discussed?
The aspect of Sarva Sankalpa. What is the Sankalpa? Is the divine asking, ordering us to serve somebody permanently?
No.
Because Swadharmat Nidhanam Shreya Paradharmo Bhayavaha. Krishna says there's no greater danger than losing yourself and serving under somebody else without recognizing the highest duty towards yourself. We should never forsake that. So now we are talking about that is very interesting about one is like Vyavaharik Satya and a Paramarthik Satya. In a Vyavahar, when I'm going to a shop, can I say, give me vegetables, but don't expect money from me to the
No.
shopkeeper? The person cannot because that is a Vyavahara. But when I go, I should not be driven that I want only this vegetable. If divine decides he's going to give me only a vegetable I don't like, I will accept it and go ahead. Duty is first. Means your personal preferences should not overcome your duty. This adhyay begins with everywhere Agni is not lit, it is only by Kriya, only by doing action, only by detached action or renounced action. Action cannot be forsaken. You go ahead with action. So, nowhere is action ever going to be withdrawn from us.
But
But
again,
Sankalpa, yeah, yeah, please tell me. So, you were saying
yes,
something?
yes, but again, I was looking for my personal uh but
Was it only
uh
personal? Was it only personal? Because you had your family, you have your dharma, isn't it? As a husband, a dharma as a father, dharma towards your own, even if you were not having a family and you were working just in a software industry without a family also, you have a duty towards yourself, isn't it? To grow. So if the growth does not happen, you will have to sometimes take a decision which is sometimes difficult, isn't it? Like I can give you one example, career-wise, for example, for me, it is means for growth you have to sometimes take a decision. For me, I left my degree completely because for growth I wanted to go to my guru. I just decided that. But what will I do after going there? Could not take a sankalpa because ground only has changed, no, completely now. We have to understand that these, if you see Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi, you have taken a sannyas from taking personal sankalpas only. That is the divine that is working.
I'm still confused like how to distinguish between personal thing and
Ah,
looking through the Sarva Sankalpa thing.
means
So
personal and divine will, how do we distinguish? That is the
correct,
question.
correct.
Ha. Okay, so first, is there a divine will in our life is a bigger question. Are we recognizing it is the first thing? No, we have to first recognize is there a divine will. Then individual will and divine will difference will come to become clear. Is there a divine will in your little actions that you are performing? Then align with that consciousness of the divine. No? If you are only thinking about individual will and there is no divine will, then there is no question of surrendering to a divine will. Means that bheda of individual and divine. How do we identify is a very important question. But if you look at any situation, if you become calm, if you become quiet, you can understand. You can become, because each person's, somebody's divine will might require that person to be. Some people would come to the ashram for joining the ashram. There is one person I know who came to the ashram and got a message directly from the divine that you're not to come here. Your work is elsewhere. So means there is no one aspect. For somebody, divine will maybe working in a place. For another person, divine will be not working in that same place. It varies with every individual. When I was, like I told you, I wanted to do my higher studies. That was my personal will. And it appears now I can say in after 15 years that my higher studies were not in the direction that I wanted to choose. It was something else at that time. But when my mother told me the simple line, divine will and human will does not match, there is a lot of struggle, there is a lot of suffering. I got so frustrated. And I was seeing that happening because I was getting your degree is not valid response from a foreign university. Then I'm fighting with them saying mine is a central university. How can you say that? Tell my grades are not good, but don't negate my degree. Then they say, replied to me, that too they replied in Dutch because that was the country's language. They said, if you, what we mean is your syllabus is not good enough for you to complete the course within this period of time, after which you will have to be sent back without your completing your degree. All such experiences I was having one after the other, and I got very frustrated. I was wondering what on earth does God have to do with my will of studying and going ahead. I was like, why is God angry or why is he interfering? Because that time I didn't realize this concept, this difference between, for me, my view was very simple. I have now finished my degree. I'm finishing my degree. Next, I want to do higher studies. This is my view. And I was
Correct.
feeling
This is
there
how
is,
individual thinks, right?
yes, yes. But then the resistance was continuously coming and I was not understanding what is happening. And at a different point, I took a decision. I'm not trying to standardize the SOP for everybody to recognize divine will and human will, but that is a decision of the individual which can be understood when you become calm and quiet. Probably by meditating, you can see. Whatever experiences are these experiences there for shaping you, for growing you, then you will continue there. But if you feel they are not, for that you have to start doing the dhyana. With dhyana, we will be able to see that.
Thank you
Is
so much.
that anyway connected, sir?
Yes, but I'm still like
Yeah.
the Vyavharik Satya
Can we not look
and
at
the
now? Now we just
Parmarthik
say,
Satya. I am still like how one will go. I mean, लोग कैसे परमार्थिक सत्य तक पहुंचेंगे, क्योंकि उसको तो व्यवहारिक सत्य ही दिख रहा है, तो मतलब
हाँ, तो
हर एक एक्शन में
योगा, so
उसका खुद खुद का बोलो या फैमिली का बोलो या जो हमारे परिवार से बिलोंग करते हुआ क्लोज टू अस, हम
yeah,
उनको ध्यान में रखते हुए हमारे कर्मास करते हैं।
barabar.
तो
But now,
हाउ
well, this is a good question. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Now, one is the how do I even understand what is a paramarthics? So let us assume who will understand what is the paramarthik satya, who has reached that yoga rudha state, isn't it? Krishna says there are two stages. One person who is, again, Rahulji has written, or having a true guru. Sometimes guru gives the direction. That is true. But let us see as an individual, there are two stages. One is the yogi who is, or somebody who is walking on the path, the beginning, the other person who has reached. But for both, there is one simple aspect, no? Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi. You have to become the sannyasi to understand it. Means now to understand Paramartha also, let me see Vyavahar Satya also. In Vyavahar Satya, can I not exercise sannyasa? I am doing so much for my wife. Does she have to appreciate me for what I have done?
no,
No. I am doing so much for my children. They must return it to me tomorrow.
no, no.
No, isn't it?
It's
In the
my
Vyavahar, yeah.
responsibility only.
It's my responsibility and it's my duty. Kartavya karma gets
Correct.
over there. Karta. So that is the initial stage. Means if we look at the shloka that we saw, this shloka, this is the third one. Aro rukshar munir yoga karma karana muchyate. You will focus on the karma till then, till the clarity comes. Because sometimes, sir, the clarity does not come immediately. Sometimes after a big decade also, you still have no clarity. What is it? What is going on? So this is a interesting thing. But when you understand it is the divine will. I was telling I went through a greatest sorrow of my life when I just felt that God does not want me to do higher studies. I was like, भाई तुम्हारा problem क्या है? Why do you want a student to not study? What is God having to do with? Because that time my mind was not ready and I did not understand it. That time the very language itself was irritating and frustrating to me. So I did not listen to it. But after some years, after a decade, actually when I got my offer letter, I have decided I don't want to go. The day I decided I don't want to go, I got an offer saying you're also getting a scholarship if you go. But I had already decided where I am because that time I got understanding. But to reach that, the big journey was there. So many tears were there, so much experiences inside were going on. But it comes at sometimes. But we don't have to really worry if, means sometimes we feel how is we don't have to connect the smaller picture with the larger picture. They're all aligned. At least the aspect of sannyas can be done, no? Sarva Sankalpa Sannyasi, meaning I will do 100 nice things. I will try to do 100 nice things, but I will not be so conscious that I should be successful in every 100 nice things as part of my karma or kartutva. Means for my daughter, I want to do something. Let me do it perfectly. But I shouldn't have the decision that this should happen this way only. That would become controlling, isn't it? Again, you cannot, isn't it okay, sir? That at least let me not take that decision. If I don't understand what is God's will, it's all right. I can understand my will, I can understand my desires, I can understand my expectations. Let me do the sannyas from that. At least that much. Let me become sannyastha. Krishna also says sannyastha kuru karmani. Do your actions in a state of sannyas. Do your duty without worrying. Sometimes duty also requires you have to be sharp. You have to be, but don't be vicious. Straightforward you can be, but don't have expectations. Without that, it can be achieved. And that is where the day we realize God's will, it does not happen every day at every time. But once we realize it, it is a realization of a lifetime. A transformation of lifetime takes place. Till that time, it's okay. But this aspect of sannyasta is something which we have to follow. Is that okay, sir?
Yes. Thank
All
you so
right,
much.
fine. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Ji,
Thank you.
ji, ji, ji. So, we will look at one more shloka. And oh, Shashiji wants to say something?
I just wanted to add something.
Little
For
louder, Ji.
me, sorry, can you hear me?
Very softly.
I just, I, I just wanted to say that from personal experience, if something is making me very uncomfortable related to people, and
Hmm.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or whatever, but you have to put yourself first. You just drop it, and the moment you feel peace in yourself, then you know it's the right thing to do, and you just start slowly but surely distancing yourself
Hmm.
from it. And if people don't understand, then you just have to say it out loud. Sorry, I'm concentrating on something else. My route has changed. If they don't understand, that is their problem. You can't have that boge on you all the time, because it
Ji.
drags you down in more ways
Okay.
than one.
Yes, yes. All right. Thank you, Shashiji, for sharing that. So this is an interesting thing that we cannot always identify quickly, but one thing we can control, isn't it? That we don't have to get carried away by our the outcomes of things and outcomes of what we do. Later on, it is like there's a very nice Hindi phrase, no? खुद को कर बुलंद इतना. Anybody has heard that?
Yeah, it's
को कर बुलंद इतना कि खुदा भी आके पूछे कि तेरी मर्जी क्या है
Isn't it?
आएगा
Yes, so make yourself so strong. Become a make yourself so strong in your fundamentals that the divine will come and ask, what sankalpa do you have? Let us manifest it. But
मेक योरसेल्फ एलिजिबल फॉर दैट
yes, 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 yes. Probably that is why. That's why the shloka also Krishna talks about both, no? He talks about the yogi also who has reached the highest state. How has he reached? Self-mastery. Simple, one word, if you say self-mastery, he has reached. And for the beginner, it is by actions only. But it is a very interesting thing, and there is sometimes a very great joy in recognizing the divine will in little, little things also. But we have to be very careful that it should not be mental auto suggestions. Because then my people start, oh, this is Krishna's will. How many people I've heard of saying this is God's will, this is God's will, and they're basically doing what they want. It is a little children also are very good at it. No, no, God wanted me to eat this chocolate. Did God want it or did the individual want it?
My
That is the
son, my
huh.
son used to put it as a prasad. Whatever he
Hmm.
wanted to eat, he will put it as a prasad and will say, this is prasad, now I can eat.
Ha, yes, yes, absolutely. So this is something, and the next shloka will stop at the next shloka, which is again very confusing because it's let us see the fifth shloka of the sixth adhyaya. It's like a tongue twister only. We will stop at this, and then tomorrow we will continue with the next. Uddharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayit atmaiva hyatmano bandhur atmaiva ripuratmanah. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to stop at that. The solution also is there in the next shloka, so we will look at it rather than keep it on hold or pending. Two shlokas we'll look at. I'll repeat both the shlokas, then we can just look at them in tandem. Uddharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhur atmaiva ripuratmanah bandhur atmatmanastasya yainatmaivatmanajitah anatmanastu shatrutve Vartetatmaiva Shatruvat. Too many Atmans in this both slokas. But what is it here? Well, Krishna says, let us look at this. The self alone can set the self free if you allow it to unsuppressed be. For the self is the self's closest friend and also the worst nemesis that the self can portend. I repeat it once more. The self alone can set the self free if you allow it to unsuppressed be. For the self is the self's closest friend and also the worst nemesis that the self can portend. One would wonder, Are bhai, Arjuna is now only coming on track. Why are you confusing him further? What is Krishna's motive here? He's saying the self can set the self free. If you allow it to unsuppressed be, self is the friend, self is the foe. What is he talking about? Anybody? This is like a riddle.
Like our senses, if we
Okay.
don't control them, they'll control us.
Okay. And how
And
are our senses our friend then, Gayatri ji?
if we control them and we use them properly,
How do we
uh,
control the senses though, Gayatri ji? With our
We are our own enemies.
our buddhi, intellect,
okay, with our intellect or with our mana, isn't it?
mana buddhi,
Mana buddhi.
chittana
We can
hankar,
yes, yes, yes. We have to.
four
So
stages are
again,
there.
yes, Shanti ji said we are our own enemies. When does that happen? When do we become our own enemies?
When we don't listen to ourselves, when we
Like when you're angry, when you're emotional, that time.
When you are not having a control, what we call self-control is lost. That time we are enemies, that time we are friends. Let us see. Krishna is explaining in the next shloka, when is the self the friend, when is this the enemy? The word is Atman in the Atman, the friend of the self and the enemy of the self. It is the same only is what Krishna is saying, or it is one. Let us see. The self as a friend can be thus considered when the lower self's pull has been conquered. But when the higher self one does not know, then the self is the self's greatest foe. I repeat once more, we will look at this and conclude. The self as a friend can be considered when the lower self's pull has been conquered. But when the higher self one does not know, then the self is the self's greatest foe. Let us understand that we have in us a tendency to either progress or to regress. There is a higher self, there is a lower self. When is it a friend? When you are able to pull yourself free from this attraction of the lower self. When you are able to free yourself from, like, for a child, like I think Gayatri ji shared the example of her son only. But It's all right. Little children have this. But when we grow up also, if we are just getting carried away by desires, what is going to happen to us? We have to learn to control, isn't it? So if you cannot control those desires, then it is pointless, isn't it? You'll destroy yourself. Your personality is going to get destroyed. That is what Krishna has told in the Gita also. Previous chapters also we saw. Great, great individuals. They have destroyed themselves by what? Kama, Krodha. Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajoguna Samudbhav, Mahashano, Mahapapma. They are the ones, the Nitya Vairya, Nitya Vairi. The eternal enemies are there inside only, no? Isn't it easy to get angry?
Very.
Very
Very.
easy.
And in anger,
Yes.
you can break
Just
relations
like
forever,
this.
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
Decades of relationship can be enough. I don't care. No more. You go out. I don't care. I don't want to see your face again. I
Yeah.
remember on my final day of school with my best friend, I had a fight. And I told him on the last day, I don't want to see you again. He also, we both had a very horrible fight. We pushed each other. We were actually upset about leaving school forever or what, we don't know. So it was so sad. Almost 2, 3 months I did not meet him afterwards. But again, college we joined. But look at that. In one moment, you can lose. One moment you can lose your what we can say standing because you are allowing the lower self to take you away. That means that lower self is your enemy. If you are not able to control that, that time you are having a. If you are able to control it, if you are able to control, then that is the best friend. No, inside, if your mind is so powerful, if your mind is, they say no, man changa, to hath mein ganga. If your mind is strong, you are not going to be pulled. That time you have a friend. But then when is it enemy? The second part, when the higher self one does not know, then the self is the self's greatest foe. Meaning, imagine if your mind does not know at all that you are divine. There is a divine inside of you. You have good qualities. You are a good individual. What if the mind does not know this? What if the individual is not knowing it only? What happens to such an individual? Anybody?
So the place does what he wants, regardless.
Okay. No, we just individually, if we don't realize that there is something good inside of me, if I don't think there is something good inside of me, what will my outlook be? How will I be?
Untamed.
Yes, Pankaj?
Demotivated. I'll feel
Absolutely.
worthless.
Worthless, feeling demotivated. Sometimes people sit for meditation and suddenly some thoughts come in and they start, oh no, see how bad I am. These thoughts have come inside of me. I am like this. You'll feel absolutely hopeless, demotivated, depressed, dejected. There is nothing good inside of me. There is nothing divine inside of me. All these are what we can say the talks of what? Not a friend. These are the talks of the enemy inside of you. Means you're not knowing that there is a divine inside of you. That is the enemy. So don't, whom will we align with? We will align with a friend only, isn't it? Let us throw away. Means say if you're meditating and some thoughts come, these are not my thoughts. These are thoughts coming from outside. I will not associate with them. I have a higher self inside of me. So this, it's a very interesting, play of the mind many times. The tricks of the mind trouble us, but if your mind is strong, you can actually push yourself. You can either be self-motivated or you can demotivate yourself. That is what Krishna is talking about in this shloka. We can have a friend and we can have a foe. We have the choice is ours. So that is where we are going to stop today. Atmaiva bandharatmana, atmaiva ripuratmana. If the mind inside is saying, hey, don't get carried away, don't get cranky, don't get frustrated, it's all right. You can control yourself. That means you have a friend inside. But if the mind is saying, oh, you are worthless, see, this is always happens to you. You are born under bad influence. You are the Apshagun. That's the enemy, isn't it? And that happens to the best of us. Look at Arjuna's case also. So instead of calling yourself names and everything, just understand, hey, this is not a friend. It's troubling me. I don't need to give attention to it. Let me just try to move ahead. Because what happens when you do such things in influence, you do something wrong, isn't it? That is how lower forces work. When something good is going to happen, there are forces at play trying to prevent that manifestation. It is up to us to what forces we align with. It is very important. I remember when I joined my teacher, and for first 7, 8 years, we had so much hurdles. I felt I am the hurdle. I felt I am the cause. I am that Apshagun which is causing all of it. And I felt maybe if, these are all what we can say outer thoughts, isn't it? I felt if I am eliminated from this place, the place would become pavitra and whatever hurdles will disappear. Now, what is all of this? Is that a thought of a friend or is that a thought of a foe? Anybody? Is that a friend or is it a foe? Foe,
Oh,
isn't it? So, what should we do? Do we listen to our foes? We don't. We don't listen to our foes. So, that is important to identify that yes, there is a good inside, there is a bad inside. It is up to us. How do we see it? With this, we stop here. We continue with the seventh shloka in next session. So, yes, if anybody wants to ask something, I think it is time anyway. In short, we could just look at any point if anybody wants to share something. Otherwise, we look at the summary. Any takeaways we can for today, please? Anyone? Some of the takeaways we can look at and then conclude with the Shanti mantra.
Be friends with the God first. Sri Krishna said.
Ah, yes, sir. We have seen what Sudama got the best perks of being friends with Krishna. Only he made it happen very slowly for himself. He could have done it faster also. So we can
some
become better friends or best friends with Krishna. Okay.
sometimes I ask why if I'm confused what to cook in dinner, I just fight with them.
With
You are
Krishna.
only, huh?
Aha. Lovely, lovely,
So
lovely.
suggest me what to cook. Then he suggests.
Yes. Yes, yes. And it is a beautiful personal relationship. Nobody can come in between. You should have that. Each person can have a wonderful friendship. We don't, when you have friends, you can talk informally also, isn't it?
Sometimes this
Yes.
seems silly when we talk, but
Yes.
it happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is an experience. Absolutely.
What to
Okay.
cook every day? You have
Hmm.
made all these things.
All
Otherwise,
right. Okay, that is interesting. So, yes, so one thing is friend, as Maitri Bhava with the divine. Anything else anybody would like to add? Any other takeaway?
Know your higher self from your lower self.
Yes, yes. Remember to associate with the higher self. Do not associate with the lower self. Both are there. The lower self is waiting to pull you down and destroy you. The higher self is waiting to lift you to a higher state of consciousness. Who are you going to align with? That is the
and,
simplest thing. We have to
and then
take a
control
decision.
your five horses which are running here and there.
Self control. If you
Self
control, you
control.
are the Jitendra, you are the master, you are the victor.
And
Yes, that is again, that was also one more point. We control ourselves, we go ahead in life, and then we'll probably understand what is the and what is to understand divine will. Probably we'll have to first get into a state where our individual will has got sublimated. Until the individual wills are but what is its meaning in everyday life? Let it become more clear. If we have a friend should explain to us properly, no? Let us put that onus on the friend, instead focus on doing our karmas till we reach that point where it becomes crystal clear. Clarity also becomes it's like very clear for a person. Things become very clear when you understand. So I think with this we conclude with the Shanti mantra. Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम् तत्सत् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम्
I know.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari
हरि
Om.
ओम् नमस्ते
Hari Om, sir.
हरि ओम् जी हरि ओम्
Dhanyavad. Thank you.
धन्यवाद थैंक यू सर थैंक यू नमस्कार